Shit. Oh,
Shit. No.
well, that's in the
how it
episode
started.
now.
Said it was in the. It's gonna be you going shit. No, and then it's gonna be me going shit. No.
So how you been?
No shit. The last time we recorded was
Like a day ago.
like a day ago, so not much has changed. It's now
Nope.
instead of Friday, it's Sunday.
Yeah, because we're trying to build a little backlog so we don't have to record it the ass crack of dawn to get an episode out again.
Well, we went to yesterday I did about nothing. I did.
You went on a 5-year Spore binge.
Yeah, I did play Spore. It was only for 3 hours. I looked at the playtime. It was only for about 3 hours, so it wasn't that long.
You're already complaining that you want to play more.
I know it's a fun game. I want to play more sports. It's fun. Hey, like there's so many times where I go, "Oh, I'm gonna play that after. I'm gonna watch that after," and I don't. And I finally followed through. So don't fucking judge me. But yeah, yesterday I didn't really do much besides I played Sport. I went grocery shopping and I went to Target, which is always a time. Tried to get baskets, didn't get baskets because they didn't have the sizes I wanted, and I was like, man, I'm not gonna buy something I don't want. But I did get. I was trying to get. So I'm making chicken this week. But I wanted to marinate it, and I didn't have like a marinating Tupperware. So I ended up buying something else, and it didn't fucking work. And teriyaki sauce got everywhere in my kitchen, which was a time, especially when I had to go, Tilly, no, because she kept trying to eat it. So, but I made it work. I just had to flip the chicken breast individually instead of doing the shake and flip method.
Yeah, no, I did pretty much nothing yesterday. I went out and did food shopping. I worked out in the morning. Mostly just hung out because I was really tired yesterday for some reason.
Yeah,
probably because we were up really late the night before. But
yeah, especially when my bedtime is like 9 and 10, and that's when we started recording. So yeah, it was a little. I was tired, and then like last night, I woke up at 2 and I couldn't fall back asleep until like 6, and then I had to wake up at 7 because we wanted to get breakfast at 8 before it got crazy, and so I didn't fucking sleep last night, so
yeah,
I'm like tired.
We went to Cracker Barrel this morning, and it was like a ghost. It was a ghost town there this morning.
Yeah, it was very. I was surprised how empty it was today. I mean, because we did get there pretty much at 8, like a little like 8:30. So I guess it was early, but even then, I feel like we've gone around that time and it's still been pretty packed.
We were in and out of there in less than an hour. They were very efficient.
You know what? We usually do get there a little later because usually when we go to Cracker Barrel, it's because Tilly's going to the groomers, and her appointments are always at 8:30, and it takes a bit to drop her off and get back. So, yeah. So I guess we probably just missed the rush.
Yeah, that was good though. We had a good waiter. He was very nice.
Yeah, he was super nice. And then we got beverages from the local coffee shop that's
falling apart.
Yeah, it's really sad. I'm not going to name it, but I used to love this place. I used to go, like when I lived closer to it, I would go and stop every Friday on my way to work at one of my old jobs. And it fell off, and it's really sad.
Our espresso machine exploded while we were there.
Yeah, something. I don't know what happened. Something exploded though.
Well, at first there was like it was leaking everywhere, and they were like, "That's not good." And then 5 minutes later, we just hear, and it's like, let's get out of here.
It's just so sad. I used to love that place, but now I only go if I'm going out there. Like I don't go out of my way to go there anymore, which is sad because I would go drive out there all the time. So
now we just go to the local place.
Yeah, or I just like go to like a Dunkin' or something.
Yeah.
If it's easy. I want to try and find some more coffee shops. Like I want to keep trying because I love the place in town, but sometimes I just want to try something different, you know.
Yeah.
Like today I got a blended matcha drink because I don't know. I feel like I've been drinking so much coffee because I've been so tired, and I feel like I got a little coffeeed out. So I've been trying to change it up with more teas.
Yeah, I only drink black coffee, so I just If I find a good black coffee place, I'm gonna
Yeah.
keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah, but other than that, nothing too crazy new.
Yeah. Oh my god, Tilly was also that's probably why I got woken up. Tilly was just like a nightmare last night. She just kept like clawing me and like well, she needs her nails trimmed. Like I was supposed to have an appointment last weekend and it got canceled because of the snowstorm. So her next appointment is next weekend on Saturday at noon. So not my normal time. So I'm just gonna have to run and drop her off. And then bop around and pick her up. But yeah, but she needs those nails trimmed because they keep clawing into my flesh and it hurts.
Yeah, because Tilly she's a good girl, but she's also a nightmare.
Yeah, she's so like it's so funny because like sometimes she's like a little angel and
She is like a literal bipolar cat.
yeah, sometimes like she like always wants to be by my side recently, which is really cute and nice. Not right now, she's upstairs napping. But like if I'm downstairs, she's usually downstairs. Like when I was playing Spore, she was just on the couch watching me the whole time. Um It's cute. Or she actually laid up here for a little bit too while I was playing. So yeah, Tilly updates, but yeah, nothing new from us since it's only been a day since we recorded. So
Yeah, yeah, but I guess we got a good 7-minute intro. So I guess now going into it,
incorrect. 6 minutes and 38, 41, 42, 43, 44,
whatever.
45 seconds.
Um, yeah, but for our topic for this episode, we're actually going to be covering a new topic, something that we've kind of alluded to in the past, but not like really gone deep into, and that is
Mangoes. We're now mango farmers.
yeah. So we've talked gaming, we've talked anime, but now we want to talk about another hobby of ours is manga.
Mango farming.
And manga is a really interesting thing because like it has blown up so much in the last like
Oh yeah.
3 or 4 years, like to the point where now it's like starting to like become like almost like a major part of any like bookstore or like or just like reading in general.
I mean, it makes money. People want to go and buy it, so stores are gonna have it now, which is
Mm.
awesome.
It's crazy because I remember back in the day, like you'd go to a bookstore because bookstores do still exist, as I've learned, like especially
Yes.
in our area.
Yeah.
Um, they you used to go to a bookstore back in the day though, and they'd be like this tiny little manga section in the back corner that would have like maybe like 4 or 5 little volumes, and like it was usually just
Yeah.
like the mainstream stuff. Or like we have a local chain up here called Newbury Comics, and they back in the day had a tiny little manga section because they were mostly a comic store back in the
Yeah, and
day.
now you go in there and it's like they have a whole wall, like
The
area that's
mo-
just they have a
the
whole
manga,
section that's anime and manga. Like
oh yeah, because
it's
it's an expand.
crazy.
It's crazy how quick it's expanding. Like
Yeah.
we have a
And
Barnes and Noble where there's a legit entire wall of the building that is just nothing but manga.
yeah. And like I mean, even going on Newberry, like now in like Newberry, I feel like it's one of those places where you kind of find the stuff you don't always see too, like the out of print stuff. Cause I know like that's where I've found like I'm trying to collect a certain series and I've only been able to find it there. I can't find it at Barnes and Noble. So yeah, it's a struggle.
Yeah, it's tough, and then especially like Amazon, it's hard to find certain series, and
Yeah.
others are really easy. But yeah,
Well, I
it's
guess it like sucks too because like of course when you get into a show, it's out of print and you're like, God damn it, I just want to collect it all.
hmm. It's interesting though because comparing manga to comics is a really fascinating thing because
Mm,
manga has been overtaking American style comics for a while now because American comics are a very outdated method where as much as I like them, they're so hard to get into, like because it's one giant story and
yeah.
like there's like so much backstory you need information on that like it's such it the barrier of entry for comic books is so difficult as
Yeah.
opposed to manga where it's like say you want to get into a series, it's like okay, this series has approximately 12 volumes, that's all you need. You
Yeah.
can start, where do you start? Volume 1. And it's just like
And it's just it's more like you get more in a smaller, in a more convenient package
Oh
too.
yeah.
Like I know like most comic books, like they're thinner, they're bigger, they're harder to store, and like manga is it's a book. Like it's
Oh yeah.
so much easier to store. You just store it on a bookshelf. Like
That's another thing
and
that's
it feels
killing.
like more bang for your buck too, because you're getting so
Yes.
much more content out of something, you know.
That's the big thing that's killing comics right now is American comics, like a floppy single issue is about like $5, $4 to $5 for like what is essentially like 12 pages, like about like 10 minutes of content,
Yeah.
really. And you have to collect, and they only come out weekly, and they're like some bi-weekly, and it's like you're paying all this money just for like these tiny increments. And then once the story's done, it's like now you get to pay $30 for the trade collection, which has everything collected into a nice book. And it's
Yeah.
like in reality, you think, oh, I just wait to get the trades. But if you don't buy the floppies, then the trades never get made because they have no reason to make them because they didn't sell well. It's like
Yeah.
it's a
It,
weird slope.
It's I yeah, we're definitely with manga, you kind of get those single ones, but it's kind of you just get those trades at the end. Like it's just you get the volume that takes the chapters that you may receive weekly through like Shonen Jump or the Viz app. You get those chapters, but they you just buy them all as one big volume set. Um
Hmm.
which I mean, super helpful. And then of course now there's series like I mean One Piece, Naruto, and Dragon Ball, and like Attack on Titan where they're doing these combo books too, which is an even better deal because
Oh yeah.
like I mean like the just experience the One Piece 3-in-1s, they're like $15. And like just one novel, one volume of One Piece is $9. It's
Well,
like a deal. Like
12 nowadays,
12,
but
well, yeah, 12, but, like so I'm assuming then the 3-in-1s are probably more, like, a little more expensive, but, like, it's a bang for your buck. Like,
mm,
you wanna just go for that, and the is good, better.
yeah, like going back to the pricing thing, it's like we said, like $5 for like 10 minutes of content at most.
Yeah,
Manga, you're paying $12 usually max. It used to be 9, but inflation, you know.
yeah,
Um, like $12 for essentially like a half an hour to like a couple hours worth of content. Like you basically get a small little chapter book,
yeah,
basically, which is nice. I mean, some volumes are bigger than others. It all depends on how much they want to cram in there. But then, like
yeah,
as Alex was saying, like you get like big long running series that have been going on forever now have these like collector's edition like 3-in-1s or like
yep.
anthology releases, which are just like full
Yeah, like
sets.
the Viz Bigs, like the Inuyasha ones too,
Mm.
yep.
The Viz Bigs were an interesting thing because they were. I don't think Viz does them anymore, but
Mm,
they were doing them for a while there with like specific series, particularly Inuyasha. That's how I guess we can
yeah.
go into that now. How we started. Like for me, I guess I'll let Alex go first because she kind of got me into it.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. So the first one I collected was when I was well, I'm still super into JoJo's, and I haven't collected all of it yet, but I at least try to get the first volume out of each one. So I started out with just like the first volumes of parts 1, 2, 3, and then of course when 4, 5, and 6 came out, I got those as well. But yeah, that's kind of where it all started was the JoJo's ones, which the JoJo's ones I'm kind of paused on collecting the full just because they're hard. They're all so nice. Like the quality of the JoJo's ones. I mean, it's understandable when you like look at the mangaka and look at all his other work and stuff. Like he does not put out crap. Like he wants it to be nice and luxurious. And it's I
Mm.
feel like it's just kind of part of the series. So the manga is all hardcover. Like you can't buy a soft cover book of JoJo's. It's only hardcover. Super nice quality. The art is beautiful, covers are beautiful.
Nice page
Um,
paper.
no, yeah, they're super nice but they're expensive. So that's why I've only gotten the volume ones. Eventually I'll start going into collecting the smaller parts as well, but it's hard on the wallet.
I know,
Um
especially because like Viz is generally the cheapest out of all of the manga publishers.
mhm,
What's interesting about Viz though is their quality varies a lot in their
yeah.
volumes. Like my favorite is like you buy those nice leather bounds, like, and those are super nice. And even your
Yeah.
Dorohedoro set,
Yeah.
those are part of the signature line, which Viz cares a little bit more about.
Yeah.
Let's say the single issue floppies. Like one of my favorites is I collected a Black Clover, and
Mhm.
you look at my Black Clover sets, and the spines don't line up at all. Like they're
No, yeah, I have one too that's like that. So
yeah, it's it's like little minor things that like I've seen on the manga collecting subreddit. Some people are very neurotic about their manga. Like they
it's not that big of a deal to me.
no, it's not at
Like,
all. It I don't understand why they act. Some people are like, there's a crinkle, and they're like, it's ruined forever. Must burn it and buy a new
yeah,
one.
I'm like, honestly, as long as the images look good on the actual pages and you can read it, nothing's cut off. I don't care. It's fine. As long as I can enjoy the content, that's really all that matters. I mean, especially where coming from a manufacturing background, it's so hard to quality control all those defects, especially
Yeah.
where something like printing, it's kind of a one and done thing. If it's not perfect and they're if like say for the JoJo's, I'm sure they have to scrap out a lot of the stuff that ends up, not being as perfect. But with those other lines, like the Black Clover one, I'm sure that their kind of defect scale, it's probably a little bigger. As long as
Oh
like
yeah.
it's readable, that's fine. But even
Like
then,
this
I mean, mistakes happen. I'm sure you could find some of them that just
well,
get past quality inspections.
one of my favorites is this is a I guess a big like misprint that went around for a while and to the point where people are still finding it is there's a couple volumes of Jujutsu Kaisen. Like there was a run of a certain volume of Jujutsu Kaisen that like you read halfway through it and then the second half of the manga just turns into Chainsaw Man by mistake.
That's hilarious. Oh my
I s-
god. And you know what's
apparently it
funny is that it probably just kind of flows pretty naturally too because of just the similar like story vibes. And then until you're like, wait a minute, this doesn't seem right.
well, the art changes so drastically and it's like,
Well,
whoa.
yeah, that. But like I feel like though too, like if someone like picked up the book and just started reading it, they'd probably just be like, "This is a weird episode of Jujutsu Kaisen." If they just opened it to that section.
Yeah, like that's a pretty well-known misprint that's been going around. I
That's
guarantee you
hilarious.
there's probably a couple of them at our local Barnes and Noble. If we actually look through all the Jujutsu Kaisens, we probably could
That would be
find one.
funny. That's a
Um,
series I wanna collect eventually,
mm.
Jujutsu Kaisen and Chainsaw Man, but money,
You want to
money, money,
talk though,
money.
like Viz, you got to give Viz some. You got to give them a little leeway though, because they publish by far the
Oh,
most.
yeah, and that's why I'm very like, I don't mind because, like, they provide so much content to us, like, it's fine to me, like, as long as I can enjoy it, that's
And
fine, you know?
the thing is, it's like Viz publishes the most, and they're not even the worst about quality control.
No, yeah,
Like
considerably
Kandasha,
worse.
Kandasha is by far the worst. Like both in terms of their quality and like overall like consistency. Because like their
Mhm.
paper is by far the cheapest feeling. Like I have a few Kandashas and they're like, yeah, it's like it's fine. It's not like unreadable, but let's like
Yeah.
you compare it next to a Viz and you're like, yeah, you can see where they cheaped out a little.
No, you can see the differences.
But I mean,
Mm,
you also take they're also a lot more expensive than Viz too, which makes it even worse.
yeah.
But you
Oh,
also
bless you.
though the biggest thing with the price is like be happy that Viz is as cheap as it is because you look at say like Seven Seas, which are by
Oh,
far
yeah.
the most expensive, while not counting those berserk like collectors editions, but
Yes.
the Dark Horse ones. Seven Seas has by far the best paper and like
Oh, yeah.
print quality, but they're the most expensive. And God forbid you're collecting a series that's old because they don't reprint a lot. So
No. Yeah, I'm collecting one of those right now, and, as soon as something comes out, I buy it because
yeah,
of that reason. I don't wanna risk not getting it all.
Seven Seas also. It's funny to me how all the different publishers they publish very unique like things.
Mhm.
Like Viz has like pretty much all the Shonen Jump stuff on
Yeah.
lockdown. Um, Kandasha kind of has everything the scraps that Viz didn't want. Um, because they Kandasha got big because they got Attack on Titan.
Mm.
Because I think Viz didn't want it or something at the time,
Yeah,
which
must
is
they must it
hilarious.
must be funny when they look back and go like, like, "Why didn't we do that?" You know? They must look back on that.
Yep.
Ugh.
And then
But
you
I'm
got
sure they
like,
also have so much on their plates too because they do
hmm,
like I mean, they kind of do all the top series like One Piece, Naruto, Dragon Ball, they JoJo's, do they do Bleach?
I think they're Bleach too.
I think yeah. So they do all like the really big long running ones. So I get why they'd be probably have to say no to some, but I'm sure the opportunity for Attack on Titan, they look back on it now and they just start banging their heads against the wall.
Yeah, because it's like, other than that, then you look at like Yen Press. Yen Press covers a lot more of like the slice of life. Like,
Do I have any press?
I
I
don't
don't
think
think
you do
so.
yet.
No, I don't. No.
So like Yen Press, for example, does stuff like fruit baskets, for example.
Ah.
They also, so an interesting one is I have my collection sorted by publisher with a few exceptions. Like the one big exception is I have Kaguya-sama with Oshinoko because it's the same author.
Yeah.
Kaguya-sama is done by Viz. Oshinoko is done by Yen Press.
It is interesting when you see like an author switch companies because I know I collected all of Dorohedoro, which I will say the quality is wonderful with those. It is
The sig
Viz's signature line. And you can definitely see like it's much nicer compared to some of my other Viz stuff. It's also really funny just going into since I'm talking about it now. I love how Bill notices this every time. You can tell like in the beginning they were like, okay, all of them are the same size. And then you get to like the last couple, like you get to 19 and you're like, "Oh, that's bigger." 20 and you're like, "Oh, that's still big." 21, 22 and then 23 is just like boom.
this
They're
big
just like, "All right, time to finish it."
chunk,
Um
big chunk. It's like the Inuyasha Viz Bigs.
yeah.
That's like a 52 volume manga that's they compressed down into 18 Viz Bigs.
Yep.
And the last two, 17 and 18, are 4-in-1s as opposed to 3-in-1s because it
And
was,
they're thick.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're almost too big to read sometimes.
But kind of why I brought up Dorohedoro was that it went from the Viz signature line, and then their new series, Die Dark, is now Seven Seas, um, which a part of me is grateful for because like the quality. I mean, even though the Viz signature is really nice, but I don't know. I kind of like the size of like Die Dark better, like that more smaller traditional manga size. I just kind of prefer I don't know. I just kinda like a smaller the bigger one, I don't know. I
Se-
kinda liked the normal.
Seven Seas is sizes are a little smaller than like the standard manga size, but they're very comfortable to read.
Oh my god, yeah, and, like, just you hold that book I mean, you bought me one for for Christmas, and just the feeling, like, the quality of the paper and stuff, it's just so different. Like,
It is
it's
thick paper because it
they
has a
are
weight to it.
and even, like, the cover too. Like, the cover is really nice, the colors are really outstanding, and especially, I think too with, just just their art style, it's very detailed, very sketchy, and if it's not printed well, it will not come across well.
Mm.
It's just their art style. So, I'm glad that they actually switched to, 7 Seas for the quality reasons because, like, it really just brings out their art.
Which is funny too, because Dire Dark is a weird series to have on Seven Seas because Seven Seas is mostly known for like the bottom of the barrel, like slice of life, like the weird,
Yeah.
basically the shit that like the whole like perception of like the manga nerd,
Oh,
like the
yeah. Dorohedoro must be the I mean, Daidark must be the black sheep because it's the story is very similar to Dorohedoro, but in space. So, bro,
like
I haven't completely fully read the series yet, but, I'm loving it so far. But,
like for
eh,
example,
when
oh, go on.
Oh, I was just saying when I went to what con was it that I bought the posters, for Dorohedoro? Was
That was
that
Kineticon.
no, that was Kineticon. I was chatting with the guy because he was like, "Oh my god, someone likes Dorohedoro," and I was like, "Yes, I do." Because I bought the 2 posters and then the Gyoza Man fairy keychain, which is my favorite keychain in the whole world that I've ever bought because it's so silly. Um but he's chatting about it, and I didn't know Die Dark existed at the time, and he said, "Oh, you should really read Die Dark," and I was like, "Oh, what's Die Dark?" And he's like, "It's Dorohedoro, but in space," and I
In
said,
space.
"Okay, I'm in." And then I read it, I was like, "Yeah, it is Dorohedoro, but in space."
Yeah.
But yeah, love that series.
It's funny though, because for example, like to compare some of the other Seven Seas stuff that I have, we've got Toradora, Slice of Life.
Hmm.
You got The Darkness of My Heart or Dangers in My Heart, another Slice of Life.
Yeah,
Um, Golden Time,
slice of
another.
life.
Yep. Um, Classroom of the Elite, that's another Slice of Life, like rom-com-ish one. Hitomi-chan is Shy with Strangers. Basically, it's all like
It's not Dora. It's not Die Dark.
no, it's an interesting thing, and interestingly, talking about Seven Seas, this is where I'd like to bring up like s- finding out of print manga can be fucking miserable sometimes.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Trust me, I'm feeling it with one of the series I got into last year, which I wasn't expecting was Magi. I freaking love Magi, but like Magi has not been airing since like the 2010s, and the manga has been out of print for a while, so
Not
I've
so
been
much out
trying to
of print, more out of stock than anything.
yeah, like, none of it's available. Like, even, like, I've been trying to just find it, like, on Amazon and eBay, and it's like, chapter 3 is, like, $100 on some sites, and it's just, like, because it's so out of print, and I'm like, "Ugh, come on, I just wanna read
Yeah, like a big one that's pretty infamous is Yu Yu Hakusho. Like goes out of stock like
it." Mm.
routinely.
Yeah, you're part of the problem.
Well,
You
I
bought
c-
it all at once. You
well
said,
that's
"Fuck everybody else."
that's what happened. Like it had been out of stock for like months, and then like I went into Newbury on like Black Friday, and they had the entire series, and I had gift cards, and I said, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna buy all 19 volumes right now."
Yeah, that was pretty funny when you just were like, "Yoink."
Just took it, just fucking obliterated the shelf.
I do, that reminds me, I wanna start collecting Hunter x Hunter at some point. Ugh, because I love that series as well. You gotta finish that at some point.
Yeah, it's on my list. I got Rurouni Kenshin now, and
Do
then
it.
Attack on Titan's
And
next.
Attack on Titan, yeah, you have to do Attack on Titan. I am contemplating getting the big volumes of Attack on Titan,
Hmm.
because gotta say, I haven't finished it yet, Slade. I'm sorry. No, I will watch the dub soon. I'll finish it soon. Uh, that's next on my list. I might do it this afternoon, actually. Maybe while I'm cooking.
While you're playing
Um,
Spore and
maybe.
cooking at the same
Yeah.
time.
Well, no, I can't do both at the same time because if I play Spore, I will get too distracted and I will burn my food. So I can't do that. But maybe I could probably watch some Attack on Titan while I do that.
Hmm. Yeah, I think the most expensive manga I've ever bought is So I'm probably one of the bigger fans of Golden Time. Like it's
Hmm.
probably it's my favorite rom romance like slice of life anime ever. Just because I've said it before, it's a fun take on the whole slice of life genre where it's not about high schoolers, it's about college adults. So
Hmm.
they can get away with more without it feeling creepy.
Yeah. And I feel
Um,
like you kinda can relate to it more as a
yeah.
reader because 'cause you're more, closer to that age than in high school.
Well, it's like the weird fan serviciness of like romance anime and manga. It's not nearly as weird in like a series that you know they're college age, like they're legal adults. It's like because it's really funny because Golden Time, the author, the writer, anyways, because a lot you'll notice with a lot of Seven Seas stuff, like they have writers and then artists, separate artists,
Mm,
because a lot of them are actually based off of light
visual
novels.
novels, yeah.
Well, light novels.
Oh, light no yeah, sorry. Light novels.
Um, so the author for Golden Time is the same author that wrote Toradora,
Mhm.
and they are very similar shows. But Toradora is a typical high
More
school,
high
and
school setting.
Golden Time is adults.
Mhm.
But Toradora is still in print, like because it's an ongoing manga, even though the story's been done for years.
Mm.
Um, Golden Time is shorter, so it's been finished for a long time, and it's been out of print from Seven Seas for a very long time.
So you
And
spent big bucks getting
n-
that.
not exactly. I found some guy on eBay who was selling every volume except for 6 and 8.
Mhm.
He had a full set, all of them but those two, and he wanted it for like $50, so I grabbed that.
Hmm.
Then I found 8 for like 20, which I mean wasn't too bad. 6 was fucking $200. And it's still expensive to this day.
Oh
Like
my god! Wow.
yeah, I was like, "Fuck," and it's of course it's like right in the middle too of the story,
Yeah.
which I
I
was like,
mean,
fuck.
thankfully there is many a website that I mean, you kind of have to sail the seven seas in a different way if you know what I
Yeah.
mean.
That
you know,
that's by far the worst the most expensive I've ever paid because that's one that just never is going to go down just because it's such a
yeah.
because
I have.
sometimes oh go on.
Oh well, I was gonna finish first.
Well, I was just going to say because like sometimes you'll get a series that's like it'll have like one volume that's out of stock and it's just like inflated price wise. Like for
Yeah,
me, a big one was
all of Moggy.
yeah.
All of Moggy.
I've been collecting Pokemon Adventures, and a
Mm,
big one for me was Volume One of Pokemon Adventures Black and White Two. That was like like $80 to $90 for a while because it was out of stock,
yeah,
and I begrudgingly held off because I was like, this is still an ongoing series. There's no way it's going to be down forever. And sure enough, like a month later, they had a restock and it was back down to $9, and I was like,
nice.
okay,
Good thing
grab
I
it now.
waited.
Yeah, because I was
Um,
like, it's just one of those things.
yeah. I was gonna ask because I mean I go to your house and I see, but you should really list all the different series that you collect and and then notify if they're complete. Like so, say like Inuyasha complete or like Oshinoko ongoing because
So
I'm curious. I want to know.
as of right now, I have this little app called the Yama app. It's an in progress manga collecting app that's still in development, but it's okay for what it is. It's got some issues, but it's coming along.
Everything does. Everything
S-
does though.
So going through it as of right now, what I'm collecting, I've got Oshinoko, that's ongoing. I've got a Silent Voice complete. Tale of the Secret Saiyan is ongoing. I've got Akira Toriyama's Manga Theater, that's a single one and done. Azumanga Daioh, that's a one and done. Um, there's a Batman manga that's ongoing, so that's ongoing. Black Clover's ongoing. Chainsaw Man's ongoing. Cheeky Brat's ongoing. Classroom of the Elite is ongoing. I don't have Death Note complete. I only have the first two volumes of that. Nagataro's ongoing. Dragon Ball Super is ongoing. I have the first Viz Bigs of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z,
Hmm.
but I don't have time. I that's going to be a project for probably way down the line.
Yeah.
I have all of Fruit Basket's collector's editions, all of Fruit Basket's Another, um, all of the Full Metal Alchemist 3 in ones. I've got all of Golden Time, Hitomi Chan's ongoing, got all of Inuyasha. I Want to Eat Your Pancreas. That's a one and done.
Mm.
Um, read that one if you want to cry. Um,
I've heard that one's very sad.
yeah. Kaguya-sama's ongoing, although there's only one volume left, so that'll be done pretty soon. Keke Garui, that's ongoing.
Poker.
Uh, Kimi and Todoki. Kimi ni Todoke. That's complete, but I only have 21 volumes so far. Kiss Him Not Me. I have all of. Comey is ongoing.
I forgot you had that one. Kiss him, not me.
Yeah, I found that for a deal online. Konosoba. That I have the first 5 volumes of that. That's ongoing still. Um, Meisan Ikokaru. Ikoku. That's another Rumiko Takahashi. That's complete. I have all of. Mao's ongoing. Mermaid Saga, I have everything.
Wow.
Mariko Chan is ongoing. My Senpai is Annoying is ongoing. Um, my youth romantic comedy is Wrong as I Expected. I have all of the light novels. The manga is still ongoing.
Hmm.
I have all of the Persona 4 manga.
Nice.
I have all of Pokemon Adventures up through X and Y. They're currently doing the Ruby and Sapphire like complete editions, so that's the Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire complete editions, I should say. they're currently doing those, so that's ongoing.
Hmm.
Ranma one half. I've been collecting the 2-in-1s. These are historically out of stock, so that one's
Ah,
probably going to be a while.
it take a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, and there is over 19 of them.
Oh my
So
god.
yeah, that's going to be a while. Rine, that's another Rumiko Takahashi. That's complete, but I only have 15 volumes out of 40.
Hmm.
Rurouni Kenshin, I have all the 3-in-1s. Sakamoto Days is ongoing. Spy Family's ongoing. I have all of Tales of Berseria because it's only 3 volumes. That time I got reincarnated as a slime. That's ongoing. Dangers in My Heart is ongoing. Uh, Ice Guy and the Cool Girl. That's ongoing. Um, some of these titles are pretty ridiculous, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Um, Rising of the Shield Hero. I bought the first 2 volumes. I'm not super in a hurry to collect that
Is it light novel or manga?
manga.
Okay.
This one's fun. The Savior's Book Cap Story in Another World.
Huh.
It looked interesting, so I bought it. That's only 5 volumes. That's complete. Toradoro's ongoing. Urusei Yatsura's is complete. I have all that. I have all of Weathering with You.
Nice.
Yashahime is ongoing. I've got all of Your Name, and I've got all of Yu Yu Hakusho.
And that's it?
That's it for now.
Wow.
There was a few singles in there I probably missed, but other than that, that's most of what I've got going on.
Yeah. It's been interesting watching your collection expand and expand over time. So and
Well,
it got me more into collecting too, because for a while I was mostly just focused on collecting One Piece.
that was
And
your
now I
first
want to,
major completion too. Well,
yeah, I mean ongoing. Like
up to
it's
ongoing.
yeah. Well, and so I guess I can go into mine. So I have all of the One Piece 3-in-1s. I have all the ones that are currently out, and my plan is to start collecting the singles as well because I'm a freak. Uh,
Clinically insane.
yes, clinically insane, aka freakazoid. And then the next, so I guess the first thing I started collecting was JoJo's, which I have just the volume ones of all the parts. I'll collect the others eventually. Then I started collecting well then it was One Piece. And then after One Piece I think the next one I got was the JoJo spinoff, which is the tales of like Rohan Kashibe. Thus spoke Rohan Kashibe, which is only 2 volumes. I'm pretty certain that's it. So that one's done. Then I started collecting Welcome to Demon School of Rumakun because I love that series, and they started releasing the manga, so I was like, heck yeah, I'm gonna buy these so I can read it. And then I started collecting Parasite, the Maximum with the full color edition, which has been really cool. They're really nice quality as well. Um, then I bought all of Dorohedoro because I freaking love Dorohedoro. And then I started collecting Die Dark. I have 1 through 6. Bill got me number 6 for Christmas. Then I started collecting My Happy Marriage because that show is wonderful and I wanted the manga too, which it only has 4 volumes out, so I'm caught up on that. I have 3 volumes of Orient, which is the author of Maggie's success because follow up show manga. Sorry, words are hard. I have just the first 2 volumes of Maggie, and then I also have. And then I started collecting Dragon Ball Super because Bill gave me the first 2 volumes of Dragon Ball Super.
Uh,
You gave me.
the first volume. I had an extra
I thought
copy
it
of
was
one.
2.
No, I only had the first copy of one. Extra copy of one.
Yeah. So I did that, and I actually lucked out. So I got a gift card for Christmas, so I bought a big chunk of it then. And then there's this store at the Game Exchange, and someone just sold like all of their basically their whole collection of Dragon Ball Super minus volume 15, and I just bought it, and they were all like $5 a copy. So I got like Dragon Ball Super for so freaking cheap.
They sell manga mad cheap there.
Well, because it's used, so a lot of
Yeah.
people just sell it. So yeah, I was all like $5 a book. So I just literally need 15, And then I think that's it. The only other thing, it's not really manga, it's more of like a graphic novel, I guess you could say. But I have been collecting Lore Olympics, which is it's on the Webtoon app. It's probably one of the biggest series on Webtoon app, probably. But I've been collecting that as well, which those are really nice and pretty because those are all full color prints as well. Oh, and I do have one. I went to see the My Hero Academia movie, the third movie, and when you went, they gave you a little mini manga. So I have that as
Yep.
well.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, sometimes I'll go to the manga store, like Barnes and Noble, or just like Newbury or any like store that sells manga, and I'll be just browsing the shelves. Sometimes you'll see like a manga like volume that just looks so ridiculous that you just
Mhm.
have to pick it up out of curiosity. And
Yeah.
one of the ones I bought that it looked so dumb, but I had to read it was a single volume storyline. It was just called "Do You Like the Nerdy Nurse?" It
Oh
is.
God,
It was so goofy looking. I'm like, I need to know. And it's
Bill,
little what?
was it sealed?
No, it wasn't. That's the fun part. It's
Okay,
literally, it's
because you know
literally.
the rule, Bill. If it's sealed, it means one of two things. Actually, it means three things. It's gory, it's porny, or it's both.
Well, there's also there's a new phenomenon where there's some series that are releasing them wrapped, even though they have no reason to be wrapped.
Or they're adding secret gore,
No,
or both.
the Persona 4 Arena and Arena Ultimix volumes have been wrapped for some reason. I don't
Did
know.
you read them,
Yeah, they're just it's just Persona 4.
Bill? Are you? Do you have something to say to the class?
No, it's Persona 4 Arena and Arena Ultimix. There's nothing to hide there.
Uh-huh.
No, but anyways, so this the nerdy nurse book, it's literally a wholesome story about a nurse at a high school who's a nerd and she's into anime and manga. And the whole time she's basically just like trying to be like a nurse at the same time while also being a freaking nerd. It's just like it's a really cute, wholesome story. There's like nothing bad about it at all. And I was like, wow, this was fun.
All right, I'll believe it for now. Until I see it wrapped in the Barnes and Noble.
There's like no fan service in it at all.
That's funny. No,
Yeah.
it's fun. It's great how much more accessible it is now, and also how normalized it is now. And I'm sure Barnes and Noble appreciates it because
Oh
I'm
yeah, they've
sure there's a lot more people buying books. But
I think I read they've
I,
opened more stores because of the manga influx.
yeah, but honestly, you know what kind of makes me happy too is like, hey, if it's getting people into reading, maybe it's not the normal style of reading a book, but hey, people are reading, kids are reading, people are reading, and that's
Mm.
awesome because I know for so long, like they'd always encourage it in high school, like you have to read your summer reading, but when they don't give you really a choice in what you need to read, it like sucks. Like when you're being forced to read something you don't want to
Oh,
read.
you want to get me going on a tangent about why I think school is garbage? Um, they when they're like, we need you to read, so you decide, okay, I'm going to read a manga. They're like, that doesn't count. I'm like, what's different about it? I'm
No,
like,
yeah, I
give
was
me a.
just like,
I actually got in an argument with a teacher once about this in high school. Um, they claimed that comics and manga did not count as actual reading, and I looked them in the face and said, explain why. And
no,
they could
yeah,
not give me an answer. They literally
well,
told me to shut up and go back to my seat. And
I
I
find
basically
it
told them
very
to F. There's a reason why my English teachers hated me because I did not give a shit about their classes because of
well,
stuff like that.
I just find it like sad. I mean, like, hey, honestly, like, it's just like when you give kids children's books in the beginning. They're primarily like, literature with pictures with them. But like there's people who like some people just they learn visually. They learn like there's different learning styles. Not everyone can just fully comprehend something by reading the text. Some people they need a little more to that to fully comprehend what's going on. And especially where some of these stories are so complex and some
Mm.
of them are so long and ongoing. Like, I mean, like One Piece, like I talk about it all the time, but like there's so much story to it. And there's so many things that if you really read and like take a deep look into it, like it's crazy how much stuff comes back later on. Like I hate that, like, it's not considered traditional reading to a lot of people because, I mean, if it's getting people to go out, read, and buy a book, that's awesome. Like, that's great. I don't know why we aren't encouraging it more.
So like to me also too, a big thing about manga that like I really enjoy is like sometimes the art is able to speak like tell the story in just visually.
Yeah.
Like one of the biggest ones to me recently is Tetsuki Fujimoto with Chainsaw Man. Like
Mm.
there is Chainsaw Man to me is a very quick read because a lot of what makes Chainsaw Man enjoyable is the art because the art really sells what the story is at times.
Oh, yeah. I agree with Dorohedoro. The art is just like there is so much detail and care put into all of it that like it just it can it like you can read into it. Like it gives you more context. Like
Hmm.
remember those exercises you did in your English language arts classes where they're like the sky was blue and they're like, all right, but what does he mean by the sky was blue? And like you can do the same thing with just what's visually happening. Like it tells the story to get you thinking.
Honestly, it's better than that English class level bullshit because it was like you actually get to visualize it, what they mean by the text, and it's like you'll notice from this conversation I was not a fan of high school English, but
And I mean, like, it's not for everyone. Of course, like it's good knowledge to have. You should learn basic skills of like being able to write a paper, write a document, that
I
kind of
just
stuff.
think I just think
Reading.
teachers are out of touch. That's really my big problem with school.
Well, I'm hoping that especially now where there's such a new like when we were in school, the generation of teachers now is probably completely different because a lot of people our age are now teachers. So hopefully
Like
because there's people our age, they will consider those things more. Like if you're getting someone to read, that's great. Whether it be a comic book, a manga, or even a picture book. If as long as they're reading, that's great.
I won't say names because obvious reasons, but like our 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 history teacher in high school, you know the one, the cool guy.
Oh yeah, the
Um,
man. Yeah.
yeah. The reason why I think he was such a great teacher is because he was in touch with modern society. Like he was a big tech guy. Like he knew, and I was like, okay, like he gets it. He knows how to teach us as kids, and he's not like
Yeah.
stuck in the fucking 80s or 70s.
This is where I thought this podcast was gonna go, but I'm
Like
enjoying it.
you got me on a tangent now because I I have a lot of problems with education. Let's just say.
No, I
Um,
know. It's hard. I think now the world is very much more understanding that everyone learns differently. There's so many different patterns when it comes to learning, where it be visual, where it be hands-on learning, where it be, listening. Some people like that's why podcasts are so great because
mm,
people just they love to listen and like they're getting the context of the story and it's all or audiobooks. Like they're getting context of a story, but they don't have to sit down and look at a page. Like I love the fact that Spotify now has like audiobooks too.
mm,
Like I just read I just listened to like the Britney Spears autobiography. That is a heart like her life story is heartbreaking and it was like so sad to listen to, but I'm glad but I probably wouldn't have picked up the book just because like I don't necessarily go and open a book like unless it's a
mm.
manga, it's hard for me to go and read that because I get bored. Like my eyes get tired and I just can't do it. But I listened to the whole book in like 2 days.
Yeah.
So,
Like another thing too with manga that I really like is how diverse the art styles are.
mm,
Like my favorite artist by far is Rumiko Takahashi, and she has such a distinct art style. Like the way she just draws things, like
yeah.
you see a Rumiko Takahashi book and you know immediately that's her style. Same
Mm,
with Oda, for example. Oda's art is very
yeah.
distinct.
Well, and Q Hishida,
Mhm.
for Dorohedoro and Dai Dark. Their art is very much theirs. You can tell it's their work. Um,
Akira Toriyama.
no,
I
yeah,
mean,
all of them I think have pretty like I'd say all of them have pretty distinctive ones. Cause even like I'm not super into it, but like Demon Slayer, like that's a very like you recognize that art style. Like that's specifically Demon Slayer.
mm,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just a we could probably go on for hours, but we're gonna probably
Yeah.
revisit manga more
Yeah,
in the
I'd like to
future.
maybe do this, like, annually or maybe, like, with some other friends who also collect manga because I know our collections are probably gonna change,
Oh yeah,
by next year, so or maybe even halfway through the year, so we can do a collecting update, but
yeah,
yeah, this was fun because I definitely wanna collect more, and I'm happy it's getting me back into reading because I 'cause reading is great. It is a really great thing, and it's just different ways of taking it in, whether it be an audiobook, a podcast, or a visual novel or graphic novel. It's all
mm,
reading.
yeah. No matter what the teachers tell you, had to get one more in. Um, but yeah, so anyways, guys, once again, thanks for joining us on the Gaming and Collecting Podcast. The Gaming and Collecting Podcast can be found on all your major podcasting platforms, particularly Apple, Spotify. We're now fully available on YouTube,
Oh,
and
yeah.
you can find all of our links at linktree /
Okay,
the Barber Who Games.
it's not
And
there.
if you'd like, you
Wait,
can join the GNC
Bill,
Podcast Network Discord server.
Bill,
What?
just do the remaining of the outro with ASMR. Come on. Josh really enjoyed it.
You can join our Discord server, GNC Podcast Network.
ASMR. Do
You can
it.
get all you can get all of our
Bill,
info on our
Bill,
podcasts.
knock it off. Try it. Try it
No,
once. Just say goodbye with ASMR. Come on. It's another way of enjoying content for some people.
you can't even say it with a straight face. Once again, guys, though, thank you for listening. We will see you all later.